Hello, everybody. I am here with Peggy Chan. She is a family therapist and director of program at the ISS Family Institute within the International Social Service Hong Kong branch. She also teaches at Hong Kong University, and she's also just really smart and fun to talk to and a great person. So thank you for being here, Peggy.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we were just talking a little bit, um, but one, I guess a place to start would be tell me how you got into family therapy, into working with people and uh, working from this perspective, how that it became important to you.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I was trained as a social worker in Hong Kong, and then I went over to Vancouver as an immigrant
Mm.
in I think 1988. So I was very lucky to be hired as a family therapist at that time in a mainstream agency in Vancouver. And it is there that I learned much about system therapy and also Bowen theory. So I was working with a bunch of very disciplined, very well-informed therapists. And we have biweekly case conferences where I learned a lot from my colleagues. And I realized that they have a very good way or kind of very, um, I would say very uh, uh, impressive way of understanding or conceptualizing their clients. And I see that they're not working only from the individual perspective, and they can take into quite a lot of parameters in understanding their client. So I was very interested in how do they learn about this way of working. And so they mentioned quite one or two institutes to me. And that's how I went into one of the institute in Vancouver and study there, and then learn a bit about Bowen theory and system theory, and then yeah, to learn more about doing my work as a family system therapist.
Did you stay in Vancouver for a while?
Yes, I was an immigrant in Vancouver at that time, and I think I stayed there for 14 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I came back to Hong Kong about 23 years ago.
Oh, beautiful. Is Vancouver? Did you meet your husband in Vancouver, or did you guys go
No,
to Vancouver together?
Uh, I met my husband in Hong Kong as colleagues. Then, uh, okay, we went over to Toronto for our master's study, and then we came back to Hong Kong then. And we worked for a while in Hong Kong. Then we emigrated to Vancouver in 1988, and then came back to
Got
Hong
it.
Kong again. So quite a kind of movement around the world.
Yeah. Well, I hear
Uh,
you. Oh, Vancouver's cold, Peggy. I don't know how you did it.
really. I think it's better than Toronto.
Well, Toronto's
I'm
really cold.
Yes, yeah. I'm okay with the weather. That place is excellent, very nice.
Yeah, Vancouver's pretty. Never been there.
Yeah.
Uh, you talk. I heard you present once on the triangle with a married couple and the mother-in-law or the
Right,
in-laws in general. Did you have any as being a young married couple with your husband? Did you have a triangle with your mother-in-law
Uh, well, I think
or your
I'm
in-laws?
very lucky. Yes, I have my mother-in-law with me while we were in our marriage. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think I'm really very lucky to have my mother-in-law. Uh, my mother-in-law, surprisingly, is a very open-minded person. And uh, to say teasingly, I think she has the best differentiation out of all her,
Ah,
better than her kids. Yeah, so I got along very well with her. She's very lenient, and I think we, if we have to say that we have triangle, it's quite a mild triangle,
mm,
and I'm quite able to communicate with her directly. But I think my husband is also taking quite a good position. Um,
Mm,
I think he is quite able to see things from my side also. And so he would not be kind of only side with her mother. So I think he is able to present quite a well-grounded position from from the two of us to her mother, who I think by nature is quite a mature person. So I think
mm.
I'm really lucky.
Sounds like it. Well, it sounds like you and your husband handled it well.
Yes,
How
yeah.
did you how did you get interested in that relationship between the married couple and the in-laws and thinking about it? Did you have clients that were struggling with
Yes,
that? Or-
yes, yeah. Oh, I think also another issue, why I have quite a good relationship with with my mother-in-law is partly also I have this issue of being quite obedient. Yeah, actually, I think this is an issue that I need to really um, learn a bit to be more flexible too. So
Mm.
I was born in a very traditional family. So I was
Mm,
trained to be obedient and respectful to my elders. So in that way, I don't have too much a potential clash with my. It's not easy to have conflict with my mother-in-law, partly because my own traditional upbringing. Yeah.
mm,
Um, right. And also partly really because my mother-in-law is very open-minded and mature.
mm,
And then, yeah, I got interested in this topic. It's from some of the cases that I see, I work with. Yeah.
mm, mm. What were you finding? What were you seeing? What,
Um, I think the maturity of all the three parties are very important. Um, uh, but, in our society, um, we see a lot of mother-in-law feeling very sad and thinking that they have lost their child, their son,
hmm
after their son got married. Um, in a way, I think in our Hong Kong society, the some of the mother-in-law, um, in a way, is in a more difficult situation because when they were daughter-in-law, they were living in a time which is very traditional, conservative. Many of them were really badly treated. Many of them
mm,
were were expected to be extraordinary conforming. Many of them were maybe subject to quite harsh conditions, expectations from the in-laws. So it's
mm,
quite a reality for a lot of these mother-in-law who have gone through bitter times. Yeah. So
mm,
when they were young, they have to be very compliant, give up a lot of self for the benefit of their husband, for the mother-in-law, or the husband's family. And so when they become mother-in-law, they, of course, it's very natural for them to hope that they can have a better life and to be better respected. But unfortunately, I think as the time progressed, so Hong Kong is becoming a bit more westernized than they were at that time too. So
hmm
the younger generation are more westernized. So they have the idea that when they are married, they want to have their own small family. The extended family is a bit far away. So the young couple would like to have more independence, more detachment from their parents. And so it's quite upsetting for some of the mother-in-law to find that while they were young, they have to suffer. They have to be very compliant daughter-in-law. However, when they are mother-in-law now, they don't have this kind of good treatment that their former
mm,
mother-in-law have. And instead, many found that they have to subject themselves to the whims or to the demands of their young couples, because with the stresses going on in the society too. So the young couples are frequently dual career families. So the husband and the daughter-in-law, the son and daughter-in-law also have to go out to work. So parenting is or
Mm.
babysitting or baby caring are often left to be the job of the grandparents. And so you can see that job-wise, they got extra. And then also the modern, the modernized daughter-in-law will also expect that the mother-in-law can be more modernized as they are in their parenting, in their hygiene for the young children. And so, of course, there may be differences. And
Mhm.
so for some of these elderly grandparents, so it's a bit hard and difficult. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can see how the tensions would come up,
Yes.
you know, you almost you feel bad for the mother-in-laws. They got it when they were young. They were up against the challenge of their mother-in-law, the
Yeah.
demands, and then they get into the position they're expecting some comfort to be taken care of, and uh, now they're kind of under the pressure again, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Another
that's
factor
tough.
is another factor is the living condition. As you see, Hong Kong is a very small city,
Hmm.
but densely populated. So housing is very is quite challenging. So quite a lot of young couples, they may not have the means to have their own separate independent housing. So
Mm.
we found very often two generations living together, or even the young couple have to stay in the mother-in-law or the mother's apartment. So they have to share housing. And
Mm.
this is a very common situation where the in-law conflict really rocketed because so there may be a few situations like the apartment may be the mother-in-law or the father-in-law's. And then uh, from the mother-in-law's side, it may be out of her good wish that she allowed the young couple to move in. However, as the young couple move in, the parents-in-law may feel that they were really trampled upon. So they lose
Mm.
their rights to the place is really eroded. And so there's this kind of boundary issues. Of course, it can be the other side too. The young couples may feel also have their boundaries violated, that they do not feel that they have the opportunity to really act in an adult way because they are often subject to maybe subject to the whims of the parents or parents-in-law because the apartment is theirs. So for younger families living with their in-law or elderly generation can be very tough for the younger generation
Mm.
too. I think, especially for the younger generation, to find their independence in their decision making, to find that whether they have autonomy in parenting is a very tough issue. And this is an area where a lot of clashes can happen between the two generations.
Mm. How did you work with these people, whether you were working with the parents or the young couple? What was,
Right.
yeah, how did you approach it? How did you think about it?
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I think if I can, I would work with a couple, at least work with a couple. But, and because I think for the couple to really work on how they deal, at least with the differences between themselves, and
Mm.
how, uh, because sometimes, um, especially the son may be kind of become laid back and let the two women enter the battle, right? Yeah. And the woman and the wife, the young wife, take the blame. And the mother-in-law would blame or target the daughter-in-law as her nemesis.
Oh,
While the son maybe just really passing the issue to the wife. So I think really working with a couple uh, to partly, I think, to see how, in a way, how they have learned to be a bit more independent from their own family of origin is important because when you get married, you have to learn where your main loyalty lies. I think
Mm,
part of the difficulty or challenge is sometimes for the son, they still have their attachment very strong with the parent. Yeah, and maybe have a stronger attachment to the parent than to the wife, right?
mm,
So I have some clients when he is thinking of whether he should buy another flat or apartment, he would start off with consulting his mother rather than with
mm,
his wife. And so he may have all the decision or even the purchase made uh, known to the mother, and then the wife may be a second person to know after the mother-in-law, right? So we have
mm,
some cases where the husband, the young man, still attach a lot of loyalty to the allegiance to the mother, and is not is learning how so I think he needs to learn that after marriage, his main loyalty should be to his wife. Of course, we are not advocating that he should detach from the mother-in-law, but he should know that the main loyalty should be with the wife while
mm,
also maintaining good connection with his mother. So I
mm,
think when I work with a couple, I will hope that I can work with the two young persons, at least on this aspect first, how they can really position themselves, I think, in a more appropriate way. And then
mm,
for the two of them to see how they can uh, sort out some of their principles in some main issues. And if I have the opportunity, I will also work with the mother-in-law too.
mm,
I think
mm,
the mother-in-law will also need to learn that um, uh, she has to, mother-in-law as well as the father-in-law has to learn that they have to let go more, that they have to know that the son is a grown-up person being responsible for his own action. So really learning to really let go more.
yeah. Is it, Peggy, is it mostly it's mostly the husband's parents that kind of the young couple go to rather than the wife's parents in Hong Kong?
Yeah, a bit so. Yeah, I think mostly we hear more about uh, um the sadness, the bitterness of the mother-in-law, uh, a bit more. Of course,
Yeah.
I think for the other side, I think for the woman's part, the her parents, I think yeah, usually the husband is has better relationship with his mother-in-law. Yeah, I
Mm,
think they can tolerate each other more. I don't, it's quite interesting now that you
hmm.
mention it. Yeah.
That is interesting. It's
Yes.
uh what have you noticed with in the young couple with the wife? Does she have any challenges with her parents in this in separating?
Uh, I think probably also yes. Yeah. Um, I think I see quite a few different situations. For some of these young women, they may have a very doting relationship with their own parents. Their own parents may really treat them as princess, and um, and the
Mm,
husband may also treat her as a princess. And so, from the point of view of the mother-in-law, the she will see that this woman is very spoiled, and and so he she will see that the husband was kind of like subjugated to the whims of this young wife, and
mm,
so the mother-in-law. the husband's mother would feel very painful, feel that her son is really treated unfairly, being kind of
mm,
having to serve this woman so intensely.
mm,
Whereas I think
Almost.
if from the point of view of the other mother-in-law, the daughter's mother, um, of course she'll be glad that the husband will treat her daughter well. So usually seems to have less problem there.
So interesting. She said it's almost like the husband's mom wants to save him from the marriage.
Yes, yes. And sometimes, in some cases, I see that the mother-in-law see that um, the daughter-in-law is really leading her son astray,
Mm,
right? Because
mm,
I think in some cases, the mother-in-law may have a very fierce relationship with her son. So the mother-in-law, from a point of view, may feel that, oh, they have such a loving relationship. She did all the things for the son. She sacrificed so much for the son. So she thought that she has a very warm, very close relationship with the son. However, I think from the son's point of view, he might actually be not happy about that, right? He might feel smothered by the mother, but was
mm,
afraid to tell her or to confront her. So when when the son got a chance to marry another young woman, so it seems for this young man a golden time to really flee from the grip of the mother and jump into the loving arm of the of his wife, right? So for this young man, he might really welcome this a chance to leave the mother and to join closely with a wife.
mm,
So after the marriage, the the husband may really be very close with a wife in a very intense relationship. So I see cases like this. So the husband, the son, and the mother-in-law before the marriage of the son might have been very close, very
mhm,
intense, and yet when the son married, the is a very different situation. The son got very detached from the mother and really bonded very intensely
mm,
with his wife. So actually, in a similar way, the fusion is still the same. Yeah, same as his with the mother with his own mother, though the subject or the target is different, right? So
mm,
for the son, he may feel that for the time being, temporarily, he has a refuge to be more of himself in his relationship with the wife. Yeah. So they bonded very closely. And yet, so for the mother-in-law, that's a very difficult situation for her. So from her point of view, the mother-in-law may see that since my son got married to you, the daughter-in-law, he got more and more distant from me. So it must be your work, right? So, so the mother-in-law would very easily be angry with the daughter-in-law, blaming the daughter-in-law, or thinking that the daughter-in-law is really persuading or encouraging the son to be away, distant from her.
mm,
Yeah. So I think it's not only one party's work, yeah, or one party's difficulty. So sometimes wife, the young wife, really feel wrongly blamed, and and then the son might be very fiercely protecting the young wife, and feeling that the mother is being very unreasonable, very irrational, and so the initial intense fusion between mother and son then becomes intense conflict between the young mother and son. And the mother is very angry that the son is now fighting with her on behalf of the daughter-in-law. And so the
mm.
mother-in-law would further blame this woman for leading his son to be that bad, right? So yeah, so I see that it's actually everybody, the parties, all have their issue of the work here.
Mm. They're all contributing to what's going on in some way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Peggy, did you have any challenges as a mother-in-law? I know
Uh,
you got a son.
yes, I'm also a mother-in-law too. Yeah, and I think yeah, there are challenges. I'm also learning here, and you see, as I said, I'm trained to be very um, in my own family to be very compliant,
Hmm.
obedient. And so for the elders, if it is not too um, great a demand, then I will comply. And and yeah, uh, and then for my younger generation, they're really quite upbeat and energetic. So I think some of them have like my daughter-in-law and my son-in-law. They may have different way of doing things, different way of parenting, and uh, and the different lifestyle. Like for me, I don't crave for traveling that much. I'm quite a sedentary person. Yeah. I want I like settling in a place for a longer time. However, for the young couples, they go out and they travel quite a lot of times with the kids. So sometimes I may feel, oh, do they have enough rest? And and so sometimes I think I have the challenge of imposing or thinking that uh, they should behave in a similar or think in a similar way as me do, the
Mm.
lifestyle, the parenting, right? Uh, so I think I need to remind myself that, um, yeah, they really are adults, and if they go to quite a lot of trips or different have many exciting activities, I think it's their job to manage their time and resting place, and instead of my worrying. Yeah. So I think when I reflect back, I realize that I also have sometimes quite a strong degree of togetherness for my children-in-law. And I have to
Yeah.
remind myself that.
I hear you. Peggy, am I did I hear you right earlier that you're kind of moving into you've been teaching, you've been working at the ISS Institute, Family Institute, but you're thinking of kind of retiring, stepping back from it?
Yes, yeah. I've been working for 23 years with my agency. And in a way, I'm very happy, very excited to have started the Family Institute, um, teaching Bowen theory. And so I feel very gratified. Um, However, I think it's time for me to slow down and to have some more free time for myself, because I think I do not have time to read as many books as I hope I should. So I hope that with retiring, maybe in next June, I can have more time to read or maybe to write.
I hear you. You know, I think you were saying you have somebody kind of shadowing you now, right?
Yes,
I guess I'm curious how you're thinking about from a leadership position, how one steps back thoughtfully and makes sure
right.
things keep going.
Yes, yeah, yeah. My successor is has started work for with me for a month. So I think so far we are getting on very well. So we are how we are. So we hope that we can work side by side for half a year, and then if things are smoothly, then I can pass everything to her. So what we are doing now is that I have some projects, some some projects that I've been doing on my own before she comes, and so
Hmm.
I have to finish. I have to still keep on doing that, while at the same time I will keep her informed or also keep her, if possible, also have her involved. Yeah. And so I have some. decision groups, some working groups, I will also invite her to come along. So for old projects, then I continue to handle, but invite her to join in as much as possible. And then there will be some new projects that I think of, and then I will invite her to be on her own or to shoulder those tasks by herself.
Mm. It sounds like you're handling it really well, like really thoughtfully figuring out how to step back. Um,
Uh, Yeah, so far I think it's working well. Yeah. And
uh,
so in a way, she has new projects or projects that she wants to start that she can really start by herself. And I think both of us are finding that this is quite workable.
yeah, Peggy, I'm curious. I know you talked about being kind of this compliance that comes from your childhood, the way you were brought up. Uh,
Right.
what, how has that been useful and challenging in your leadership position?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. Um, Useful in a way. I think with regard to my relationship uh, uh with my boss,
Hmm.
um, with my peers. Um, so far, yeah, I have a very good relationship with him in a way that um, he's very busy. So he has a very free hand for me with me. So he allowed me a lot to have a lot of room to experiment, to do things on my own. And she did.
Mm,
He is not hand. He really have a lot of freedom for me. And and also for his decisions. I think he's good in really keeping me know the reason behind, the rationale behind, and conducive to really discussing. So and so most of the time, uh, I will listen to him, but I will able to really talk about my mind, and he will be able to listen to me. So I don't find too much difficult in that. Yeah. And with
mm,
other peers, like program directors of other departments, um, in a way, we don't have too much contact. But when we collaborate, I think we are able to listen to each other. And I think there's one point which is pretty good in our agency, is the helpfulness. And so,
mm,
if since my unit is very small, I only have myself and also a project worker. Uh, so when we host like great programs, big programs like conferences, we don't have manpower. And yeah, we rely a lot on volunteers, our students, and also helpers from other departments. And
mm,
so I found that um, other departments, they are very generous in lending us their extra manpower. And so we listen, and it's also very compliant with each other. Yeah. So in that way, I think my being compliant is also quite a significant feature from the other department heads too.
mm,
Of course, there may be some differences amongst us, but I think so far we're able to converse these differences in quite a open manner.
mm.
Yeah.
Uh, I hear that. Um, how do you how would you like to be less compliant, Peggy? I'm asking because I have the same issue. I've been too accommodating, too compliant in my life. You know.
Yeah. Um, Actually, I think one of the what area that I should do more about is with my husband. I found that, yeah, for my major part of my marriage life with him, I'm really compliant. But at the latter part, I began to be more rebellious and,
Uh-huh.
and reactive. However, lately, I think I'm beginning to grasp more of how to be more mature. And there an instance which is quite a revelation to myself. Like I thought that I'm accommodating to him, like having he was at that time we're in a hotel, and he was turning on the television. So I thought it's a bit loud. I was working. However, I thought I should not make a big fuss out of it, right? So I accommodate. I didn't really make a big fuss, and I was working, but I was a bit unhappy inside. But so my natural self is to be is swallow in. I can tolerate it. I can still work under such situation. I don't want to ruin his fun, right? So I
Hmm.
want, on the one hand, I also want him to have to be able to enjoy the television. So I will just bear with the loud voice. So I didn't utter any complaint, right? So he didn't know that I'm a bit unhappy. However, and later on at home, um, I was also, it's my turn to enjoy the television. I like to have it louder than he would like it. And so he kind of say, can you lower down the voice, the volume? And then at that time, I got stirred up. I got stirred up. And then I said, how come you asked me to turn down while I tolerated you when you were in that place? And then he replied calmly, you didn't say that you did not like the voice level at that time. Yeah, and that was such a wake up call for me. And
Mm,
I realized that, yeah, it's my fault, it's my responsibility. Really, I think he's right. Uh, I recall that my husband never forced me to do something that I don't like. That's his good point. And I realized that in in the name of I'm being compliant, considerate, and not ruining your fun, actually, I'm harboring some bitterness, some
mm,
unhappiness. I'm I'm not responsible to myself. I didn't take the responsibility to tell my husband that I don't like the voice volume. Can you turn it down?
mm,
So that's a um, very inspiring moment for me, really. I realized that actually, while I am quite often blaming him, I'm actually not taking responsibility for myself. And
mm,
actually, sometimes, or quite a lot of time, I I mislead myself that I thought that I'm considerate. I'm swallowing in the grievance. I'm not uttering my complaint, my unhappiness with you. I thought that I'm considerate. But in a way, actually, I am not too responsible for myself. What I need to do is to learn how to say my situation in a polite, calm way,
mhm,
right? How I
mhm,
can be not so reactive, but say out my need to have the voice level down a bit so that I can work. So that's the work, the homework that I have to do.
It's me too, Peggy. That's a beautiful example of what goes on between couples and within
Right.
individuals in a partnership. Uh,
Yeah.
and you know, it's interesting, this idea of being considerate. I've done a lot of things in the under the banner of being considerate. But you know, I think you're right, is that being able to say what you think to somebody else in a calm, polite way is
Yes.
actually a
Yeah.
more considerate position. Because if not, you build
Right.
up resentments, and how considerate is
Right.
that? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I really find that, so one big homework for me is to really not to become reactive when things do not go my way, right?
Mm,
And how to stay calm. And yet, so it's like a two steps. One step, the first step is how to remain calm and not reactive when I got stirred up. And the second step is to formulate my action, how I can articulate my needs in a calm, unprovocative way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's homework for me.
I get it. It's good homework. Uh, uh, Retirement's going to be fun, Peggy. That's
Hope so, right?
um,
Mm.
is your husband retiring too, or is he still working? Or
Yeah, he has officially retired, but in actual sense, he's semi-retired, semi-retired because yeah. So officially, he's retired from his job, but the church is giving him a few projects to look after. So he's very happy with this kind of state. Yeah, so he
Mm.
likes to have more relaxed time, and yet he also want to have some work that he can do.
I that makes sense to me. That's probably is the healthy way to do it.
Yes.
Um, Peggy, we're speaking of projects. I know you're working on a project that's meaningful to you now. Can you say a little bit
Yes.
about it?
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's my pleasure to share this project with you. Um, we have implemented this project since last year. It's called um, um, Family Ties That Bind. No, sorry, Family Ties Beyond Distance. Family
Hmm.
Ties Beyond Distance. So it stemmed out from how we see the situation many elderly people in Hong Kong are facing in these few years. So we found that in since 2022, we have more young people, young families emigrating to Western countries or other countries over the world. And so the result is that there are a significant number of families with mainly or only the elderly parents stuck in Hong Kong. And we found that these parents may face a lot of challenges. So they may be suffering from the separation from their adult children who previously may have been, of course, a source of support, a source of comfort to them.
Hmm.
Many suffer from anxiety, from sadness, and so we see these people, these elderly people, having a few many challenges, and also after their adult children leaving them, they are faced with a different way of relating with the people, right? So they
Hmm.
found them that they have, besides the son or the daughter leaving with the grandkids, they found that they have to face a whole different situation in their relationship system. Like previously, this elderly lady may have great comfort with her adult daughter, who has been very caring and doing many household chores for her. And yet, with the daughter leaving, this mother finds that she has to do many things on her own. So and she does not know who to rely on. So she has to really sort out things in a completely different way. And so a lot of adjustment difficulties. So we hope that this project can help these elderly parents to deal with the stresses of separating from their kids, from their adult children and grandchildren. And secondly, to also help them um, to deal with the changes in their relationship structure, in their relationship
Mm.
system. Like previously, they may have the daughter acting as a caregiver or over functional, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
but now they have to um, develop a different way of relating with the other relatives or assume different roles. Some
Mm.
elderly grandparents may be very strong matriarch in a family before, and with many young adult children and grandchildren listening to them. But with all these younger generation moving away, this patriarch or matriarch, who has been very powerful before, are now finding that nobody listened to them, right? They're feeling empty and with nobody to attach to. So quite a
Hmm.
sad situation for them. So we hope that we can have uh, some some way to help them to deal with changes in their relationship structure and how to get over a different functional role and yeah, to adjust better to the new situation. And thirdly, we hope that they can develop more self-sufficiency and also to find out more resilience in themselves. So
mm,
how we achieve these purposes is through a series of programs. So we plan to have four different kinds of stages. So the first stage, we have a psychoeducation program for them. So we have 4 sessions of psychoeducation program. So the content would be like, firstly, to help them reflect on the process of their children's emigration, the process, how it affected them. I found that, yeah, the process of how the decision is done can be very vital. We found
mhm,
that some of these elderly parents are still feeling very bitter after their son have already gone for maybe 3 or 4 years, because
mm,
some recall that actually they were just informed about their son moving away maybe a week ago before the young person leave. Why?
mm,
I think there may be some reasons why, right? Because some of these younger generation, I think it's a very painful decision for many of them too. So they may have a lot of consideration, a lot of anxiety themselves. They don't know how to figure out all the dilemmas. And so the more anxiety they have, the more tension that they feel. They don't know how to convey to the elderly parents. They may be
mm,
upset themselves. They don't want to hurt their parents. And so some of them may leave it to the very last moment, hoping that they may not hurt their parents as much. But in the end, of course, that will hurt their parents even more.
yeah.
And so we found that the process and the timing of the decision, how they were informed by who, can be
Mm,
very significant. Yeah. So so helping them to have the chance to really air out these processes um, can be helpful. And actually, in the group, yeah, we have some sharing session for them to articulate how is it for them to go through this process of their children moving away. And yes, so some of them were able to share these pains, and I think, and they really found it good to hear that it's not only their part, they can also hear how other elderly parents also juggle with the dilemma. So,
mm,
so one, so one of the content is to help the parents to review the process and the impact of the immigration on them.
mm,
And then the second part is to help them to reflect on their immigration path all through their multi-generational family history. Yeah, I found that this is a very interesting part too. Um, you see, for for the city of Hong Kong, actually, a lot of us are immigrants too. For my parents, they are immigrants from China, and many
mhm,
of them are, are really smuggled to Hong Kong. Uh, and so a whole sector of the population are not born here. I was born in Hong Kong, but a lot of our elderly generations are immigrants. So
mm,
we help them to review and reflect the pattern of immigration in the multi-generational family history. So for this elderly parent group, they found that actually, yeah, so like their parents also brought them to Hong Kong, and so they were so for their parents, they were also leaving from the hometown to Hong Kong.
mhm,
And so it's a very interesting comparison. And so they got a lot of insight on, yeah, the comparison of how they review the the immigration and the adaptation they have to do in Hong Kong as compared to how their children now is doing their own immigration. And
Mm.
yeah, so I found that very, very interesting part. Yeah.
That
And
is
then
very
for,
interesting. Like bringing it brings perspective to the actions of that generation. That this isn't
yes,
something new. This is the way people have managed over time.
yes, yeah. Because when they compare the several generations immigration, they realize that like when their parents came to Hong Kong, so it's for a better livelihood. There are many ideals when they come, and their parents really want to have a better life for themselves as for the younger generation. And they are very grateful to their parents. They are very they really feel that their parents risk a lot, but sacrifice a lot, but very grateful to them. So when they think of the sons, their daughters' immigration now, they're able to kind of tune in to their own immigration, and and then they develop a broader perspective, more openness to seeing how the son is also wanting to have better life for the young children.
Mm. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You sounded like you had another point, Peggy.
Oh, oh, let's see. Oh, I think the other point is about out of all these challenges and dilemmas, how can they really resource themselves?
Mm.
And and so there's a part of the psychoeducation that we hope them to also reflect on how they deal with differences and anxiety. So we teach them about the the pattern of coping with anxiety in nuclear family, and I also teach them some basic uh, ideas about differentiation, and
Mm.
so helping them to be self-sufficient, rely on themselves as much as possible, and to see how they can strike suitable or appropriate limit or boundary with other people, and also to
Mm.
build connection with their with their extended family and multi-generational farm system. So
Mm.
we try to attain these objectives in the psychoeducation part.
Mm. Well, it sounds like a great project. How big was this exodus of the younger generation?
Oh, okay, yeah, it's pretty significant. Like in for the for brief statistics in 2022, we have the figure of like 110,000 people have left the city. 110,000. So that's about 1.3% increase of the population
Wow.
living. Uh, and so around that time is 1.6% decrease in the population.
Wow. That sounds like a cultural shift, almost social shift for
Right,
sure.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it
yeah.
noticeable? Is it something people notice? Is it something that people can feel in the
Yeah,
in the air?
people notice and people can feel. So actually, besides us, there are also some NGOs, some non-government organization, also setting up some services for this target group.
Mm.
But I think they are more focused on the uh, recreational and social aspect and
Mm.
also the technological aspect. They are providing very good services, but we have different focus. So some of these agencies help to arrange social and recreation services for this population, and some teach them how to be more IT intelligent. And yeah, and for our focus, we are more on to how to resource the individual and also to
Mm.
help them to deal with the relationship uh, um, um, patterns or to be more self-reliant and
Mm.
to have more connection with the family system.
Yeah. When I introduced that idea to my students of kind of managing self in relationship to other people, they hear it as independence, which maybe
Right.
is part of it, but not necessarily what
Not
I think
necessarily.
you're describing.
right.
Um, yeah, just um, and they always ask me, how does this resonate with us, a culture, a society that's more collectivistic? You know, what's been your experience with presenting these ideas and how people hear them, take to them?
Yeah. Right, right. Yeah, I think you have a very good point. I think in Bowen theory, of course, we have to learn to be as much self-sufficient as possible. That being becoming present accounted for. So for things that is my responsibility, I shoulder my own responsibility and not pass it back to the other person. But I also have to learn about my limit. There are things that I cannot do, and there are things that I'm not responsible. So I have to get help appropriately. So I need to
Mm,
learn my assets as well as my difficulties. And in our culture, I think many people would think that, oh, the Asian culture is more collectivistic. Does it mean that you have to follow or to be to do more or less the same thing? Um, I think uh, with regard to how we can apply Bone theory to our culture, I think it's not about whether I need to be compliant or not. It's about even though if the culture expect me to be respectful to my mother-in-law, to my elders, is how I do that. So it's about how mature or how
mm,
inadequate I'm doing that. So instead of maybe like for some families, they have to kneel or kowtow to their elders, right? So um, these are just the content, the format. But I need to learn how I can also be respectful to my elders uh, and not against my own principle. So it's about
mhm,
learning an effective way of of respecting that cultural trait, I think.
mm. But holding on to yourself at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
know, I
about how.
yeah, I like that. It's about how. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
you gave a beautiful example with your program that you're helping. One of the things I heard you say was helping people connect to other family members besides the children that went
Right.
away. That
Yes.
that
Yeah.
that to me resonates with this idea of taking responsibility for self, but also recognizing that we are interdependent and we need
Yes.
each
Yeah.
other, you
Right,
know.
exactly. Yeah. So we have a second stage for the program. So for the second stage, we have the family version group, 5 sessions. So we have
Mm,
small group, maybe 5 to 6 persons in a group. So we group these elderly uh, 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 mother or father together to teach them how to draw the family diagram and then to work on their family. It's quite
mm,
fun. And so you can imagine that for some of these elderly ladies, they may not uh, be very skillful with the writing, right? So we have some assistance there. But yeah, so it's quite very enjoyable to really work on this with them. So we have them share the important data of the family and help each one to draft out their family diagram. So some have 3 or 4 generations really, and it's amazing that they actually really they're able to see the patterns um yeah, and be quite reflective. So we found that this stage, the family version stage, is a very inspiring session for both
mm,
us as well as for the participants.
mm. That's sounds like a wonderful program. You're going to keep working on this? Is this one you're sticking with?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to look for more potential partners. So we need to have potential partners like an agent who can help us with recruiting these elderly
Mm,
participants while we provide the program.
mm. Wonderful. Yeah, it sounds like great work, Peggy. Sounds like
Yeah,
fun
just hope
too.
that we can reach out more.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you will. So, Peggy, I know you said you're retiring, you're gonna do more time for reading and writing. Is there anything that any ideas that you're looking forward to pursuing that have been in the maybe on the side?
Oh, um, a little bit, yeah. So I'm still firming up my idea. I'm a bit interested in the voice of women in traditional
Mm.
culture. I think partly it's because of my own experience. So I'm learning. Uh, like actually, I hope to like maybe interview a few women to see how women from different groups really actualize themselves or to work out themselves. So I'm interested
Mm.
in the self of women in our culture. I recently heard, yeah, a case is a elderly lady who is so mature or wise that it's through her that she has the three at least three generations of her multi-generation family really get very settled and stable, all with
Mm.
very adequate functioning. It's through her actions. So I hope that I will be able to interview this elderly lady sometime later.
It,
Yeah.
it's it sounds like a fun project and a
Yes.
useful and a good one, like something that would be
Yes. Yeah.
useful
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
Mm. Uh, Peggy, what just to kind of round out the conversation, where do you see hope? What do you find hopeful? Uh, do you have any words on that for us?
Oh, this is a very difficult question. Say that again, please.
Uh, any words of hope? Any places you
Um,
see light for the
um,
future?
okay. Um, actually, I think I'm a pretty optimistic person. Um, I think with learning Bowen theory, actually it helps me to become more optimistic too.
Mm.
I don't get bad mood for a long time. So usually I just get bad, if I get bad mood, I'm just a few days. So I think with learning Bowen theory, it helps me to become more optimistic in the sense that I think it's the concept, the sense of self.
Mm.
Yeah, because the outside world can be quite horrible, right? Can be quite drastic. You may see that it's so hard to change the outside world. But I think Bowen theory informed us that even though the outside world is not as satisfactory, what we can do is to really work on ourselves. So I see that as a very it's really light at the end of the tunnel. So even though outside is so hopeless, I can still have myself. I can still work on myself. What area I can do a little bit different.
Mm. I couldn't have said it better, Peggy. Thank you. That was
Okay,
wonderful.
thank you. Thank
Peggy,
you.
thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you.